Hey everybody, it's Nick here with you. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to What's the Story Morning Glory Reimagined. We are celebrating 30 years of this baby, the 30th anniversary of What's the Story Morning Glory, which was released on October the 2nd, 1995. The band is gearing up to release a 30th anniversary LP and CD that are coming out on October the 3rd. So I thought it'd be fun to come here on the channel, pop open my Spotify and reimagine What's the Story Morning Glory. I've taken all the albums, tracks, as well as the B-sides from the Morning Glory era, and we're going to put them together into some new track lists and reimagine this classic album. So what I've done here is I've created 4 different playlists for 4 different reimaginings of the Morning Glory track list. I've taken all the different tracks here and I'm going to put them into 4 different versions. You can call them alternate universe versions, multiverse versions, different versions of Morning Glory, where I think, you know what, it could have still been a strong album, even if we just messed around with the track list a little bit with the album tracks and the B-sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the rock version of What's the Story Morning Glory, where we take out all the softer songs and put in just rockin' songs, because Morning Glory, the original track list, is very diverse. There's rock songs on there, there's ballads, there's acoustic stuff happening on there as well. Well, this version of Morning Glory is just going to be the rock version. And of course, I'm going to keep it the same with the rock version. I'm going to put Hello still as the opening track of the rock version. I'm basically keeping the track list the same, but I'm taking out all the softer songs to make this a full-on rock album. So we're going to continue with Roll With It, which I think is obviously still a great Morning Glory rock track, one of the best. But then you know what? We're going to skip a couple of these next songs. Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, Hey Now. Even if Hey Now is a little bit of a rocker, I want this album to be really, really high octane, high energy Oasis rockers. So you know what? I'm going to put Acquiesce after Roll With It, which I think would make a great addition to the What's the Story Morning Glory track list. And then we're going to move it back here. What else am I going to put on there? You know what? A song that was originally on the Morning Glory album before it was removed due to copyright restrictions with Stevie Wonder and his songwriters. So we're going to put Step Out into the rock version of What's the Story Morning Glory. So far we got Hello, Roll With It, Acquiesce, and Step Out. And we're going to keep it high energy. We're going to keep it rocking. So I'm going to put Round Our Way in there as track number 5, replacing Hey Now. Already this album is really high energy and it really would get me going. I think I would listen to this if I was on a run or doing some exercising or something like that. We're going to keep Some Might Say in there because Some Might Say is a great rocker. So that's going to still stay in there as, we're going to put the Swamp Song in there. I forgot. So instead of an excerpt of the song, which we got on the album, we're going to put in the full Swamp Song because I think that is a great version to include on the album. So instead of some snippets, we get the actual full version of the Swamp Song in at number 6. Then I'm going to put Some Might Say in there, like I said, back in at number 7. And then we're going to keep it going. You know what? There weren't a ton of rock tracks, so we're going to bring it down just a little bit, but we're going to do one of the rockier of the acoustic tracks. I'm going to put It's Better People in there. I know that might be a controversial little thing in there to put It's Better People on a rock album, but I feel like Noel needs to get some more play on here. I know we have him singing Step Out, so It's Better People is going to be in there instead of Cast No Shadow. And then as we go back to the Morning Glory thing here, Head Shrinker is going to be replacing you know what? It's going to be in a number 9 instead of She's Electric, but we're going to keep She's Electric on the album in at number 10 because I still think, even though that's not a super big rock track, it's upbeat, it's still a really great Oasis song, got a great vocal from Liam. Then I know it's kind of maybe not great to put a cover song on the record, but we're going to put on Come On Feel the Noise as track number 11 on this edition. And then we're still going to close out the album with Champagne Supernova. Now take a look at this, okay? This is my rock version of Morning Glory. This is really cool. So we're going to start out with Hello and Roll With It. Those are still going to be the first 2 songs from the record, still getting us off on a great note. But then we're going to change it up a little bit. Instead of Wonderwall, we got Acquiesce in there. And I still think Acquiesce should have been on the original album proper. Step Out, Round Our Way, an actual full version of the Swamp Song instead of the excerpts. Some Might Say, It's Better People, which I know, not necessarily a big rocker, but it's upbeat. It's got a great vocal from Noel. Head Shrinker, She's Electric, Come On Feel the Noise, and Champagne Supernova. So this is the Morning Glory rock version. I think this is really solid. You guys can hop in the comments below and let me know your thoughts of what you think of the rock version. But to me, this is a great track list. You still have 12 tracks like the original record, but we're changing out those slower songs like Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, Cast No Shadow, those kinds of songs, which of course I obviously love, but we're replacing them with rockier tracks to create much more of a high energy rock album. To me, this actually looks a little bit more like something like Be Here Now, because Be Here Now was pretty balls to the wall rock throughout the whole thing. This to me sits along Be Here Now as being more of a rock oriented version of the album, but this is the rock version of the album, and I think it's pretty solid. But then on the flip side of the rock version, I've created the Morning Glory soft version, where we take out all the rocky tracks and include more of the acoustic-y, ballady side of the Morning Glory album. And we're really changing it up for this edition because Hello is one of the rockers. That's on the rock edition. So we're going to replace that with more of a ballady kind of Oasis song. And you know what? My choice for the soft version of Morning Glory, the opener, Rocking Chair. You know why? Because Rocking Chair has got that awesome fade into it where it has the acoustic guitars fading in. It's one of the few Oasis songs where it fades in instead of just starting right off the bat with a high energy track. We're going to start it off with Rockin' Chair. I think that would be a great opener if we were going to do a softer version of the album. And I'm going to continue that vein with Underneath the Sky from the Don't Look Back in Anger single. And I think Underneath the Sky's got a crazy awesome vocal from Liam. Really, when you think about coming out of the gate with Rockin' Chair and Underneath the Sky, two stellar vocals from Liam Gallagher, that's a good way to start a record. But we're going to continue kind of following the Morning Glory template because Wonderwall is still going to go in at number 3 because no softer version of this record could exist without Wonderwall. We're going to keep Don't Look Back in Anger in there in the number 4 spot. And I'm going to include Hey Now in there as well, in at number 5. So some of the track list stays the same, but we're replacing those two opening rocking numbers, Hello and Roll With It, with Rockin' Chair and Underneath the Sky. Then we're going to go to Talk Tonight. Because you know what? For a soft version, acoustic version of the album, that's got to be on there. And then I'm going to include It's Better People in there as well, because I included it on the rocky version, but it's also a great acoustic song, so it could totally fit on the soft version as well. Then I'm going to keep Cast No Shadow on there. That's an absolute classic song. It was crazy when they played it at the Live 25 show. So Cast No Shadow is going to be in there. She's Electric is going to go back in there at number 9, but then I'm going to change it up a little bit because there's one track that should have been on the album. I think it should have been on the album proper, even though it came out after the album was recorded. But that is this baby, The Master Plan. We're going to put that in number 10, and we're going to keep the track list a little bit shorter this time because we're going to include Champagne Supernova as the conclusion of the soft version of Morning Glory. So in kind of contrast to the rock edition, we have the soft edition, which is, I think, pretty cool as well. This is a great listening experience as well. Feel free to duplicate these playlists on your own at home. But we're going to start off on the soft version of Morning Glory with Rockin' Chair, Underneath the Sky, and then it's going to kind of continue there with the regular album, Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, Hey Now. Then I think Talk Tonight makes a great mid-album break, a really nice acoustic showcase for Noel Gallagher, because as much as we love Don't Look Back in Anger, we don't really get any acoustic Noel Gallagher on Morning Glory, so that's really cool. It's Better People. And then we're going to continue kind of the previous Morning Glory, the original track list with Cast No Shadow, She's Electric. We're going to put the Master Plan in there because I think the Master Plan should have been on that album. And then we're also going to include Champagne Supernova. So instead of 12 tracks with the excerpts of the Swamp Song, we have Champagne Supernova coming in at 11. And this is my soft version of Morning Glory. But then it got me thinking, what's the story of Morning Glory? This is an album filled with hit singles. So many songs on this record were released officially as singles, either in the UK or North America. So you had Roll With It, Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, Some Might Say, Morning Glory, and Champagne Supernova. So we had, a lot of really big hit singles from this record. So I thought, what if we created a no hits version of Morning Glory, a version of the album where there are none of the big singles that were released from that record? It actually really changes it up quite a bit. So we're going to kind of keep it the same with the album opening with Hello. Hello was not released as a single. That was just an album track. So Hello is going to kick this thing off. Then we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to keep it high energy for this no hits version of Morning Glory. We're going to put in Round Our Way, which I absolutely love. I love the brass on that song. I think that actually would make a really cool second song on the no hits version of Morning Glory, because we've got Hello on there. We got Round Our Way, keeping things high energy. But then we're going to take it down a notch, because you know what? We don't have Don't Look Back in Anger, which is one of the band's biggest hits, on this no hits version of Morning Glory. So I'm going to put Talk Tonight in at number 3 on the no hits version of Morning Glory. Then I'm going to go with Underneath the Sky, because I feel like, again, it's been on a couple different versions here already. I feel like that would be an amazing version, an amazing song to include on this version of Morning Glory. Then we're going to continue the original track list. We're going to still put Hey Now in at number 5. We're going to put the full Swamp Song in there instead of the excerpts at a number 6, which is kind of still in its original spot. Some Might Say is going to be replaced by its own B-side. We're going to put in Acquiesce, which is, if there was 2 B-sides that I think should have definitely been included on the Morning Glory album, full stop, it's Acquiesce and the Master Plan. Those 2 are absolutely essential to the Morning Glory era. So after the Acquiesce, we're going to include the Master Plan. I know the Master Plan is like a hit. It was on the B-side album. It was on its own album. But, I know Acquiesce also was a radio single from the Master Plan. So if anybody wants to correct me in there, I already know that. But we're going to continue the no hits version with She's Electric still in there at number 9. Morning Glory is not going to be on this record because that was a big hit here in North America. So we're going to put Rockin' Chair in there instead at number 10. We're going to put Step Out. You know what? It should have been on the album, but Stevie Wonder and his songwriters made a fuss about that. We're going to put in Step Out at number 11. And you know what? We haven't put this on any of the track lists yet. We are going to close out the no hits version of Morning Glory with Bonehead's Bank Holiday. And so this is a version of Morning Glory that has none of the big hits on it. Doesn't have Roll With It, Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, Some Might Say, Morning Glory, or Champagne Supernova on this. But this is the no hits version of Morning Glory. Check this out. I actually really like this. I think this is really cool. Hello into Round Our Way with the big brass and everything. We're going to take it down a notch with Talk Tonight, a great solo spot for Noel Gallagher in there. Underneath the Sky, Hey Now is still going to be in there at number 5 because that wasn't a single or a hit. The Swamp Song in at number 6. We're going to replace Some Might Say with its own B-side, Acquiesce, in at number 7. The Master Plan, that's actually a pretty good solid alternative to Cast No Shadow, because Cast No Shadow is an amazing ballad. It's a great song, but I think the Master Plan fits in there quite nicely. Moving into She's Electric, which is still in its same spot from the original album, and at number 9. Number 10, Rockin' Chair, which is really cool. 11, Step Out, which kind of maybe that replaces the energy of Morning Glory. And then instead of ending the album with the huge hit Champagne Supernova, we're going to wrap up this edition of Morning Glory with Bonehead's Bank Holiday. So this is the no hits version of Morning Glory. And to be honest, guys, I kind of love it. But that leads me to my final alternate version of the Morning Glory track list. And this one, I didn't swap anything out. I didn't swap any of the album tracks or singles out with any of the B-sides. This is the original album, but in a different running order. I thought it would be really cool to kind of change the feel of the Morning Glory album using the original tracks from the record. So we're going to call it the jumbled version. That's what I called it this time. I didn't really think that I didn't have much of a better name for it. So jumbled version it is, and we're going to switch around this entire record with these songs. So coming in at number 1, we're going to open the album with the Swamp Song, which is a song that the band opened with on the Morning Glory tour. If you ever watched There and Then from Main Road, they open up with Swamp Song. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it. It's a great instrumental. It's a great rock and Oasis track. I wish they played it at the reunion tour. So I'm going to put the Swamp Song in at number 1. Then I'm going to go into Morning Glory. I think that's a really cool way to start the album. So you have that awesome jam at the beginning of the Swamp Song, then moving into that helicopter sound of Morning Glory in a number 2. And I think that's a great start to the album because, again, it's essentially the title track. So you're going from Swamp Song into Morning Glory. I think that's a great little twofer to kick off the album. Kind of a little bit heavy, but then moving in, we're going to put in Some Might Say on the jumbled version as well. I think Some Might Say would be really cool if it was moved up further earlier into the album. So at number 7, we have it in number 3 instead. And we're going to put Wonderwall in there at number 4 because I think you got to kind of bring it down a little bit, right? You have 3 rockers there in a row, and then we're going to put Wonderwall in at number 4. Then I'm going to put Roll With It because we want this album to kind of have a little bit of a mid-album pick-me-up. I'm going to put Roll With It in at number 5. We're going to move Don't Look Back in Anger into number 6. And then check this out. I'm going to take Champagne Supernova, which is the epic closing track of the record, and I'm going to move it to the middle part of the album. I'm going to put Champagne Supernova in at number 6, where it kind of, or number 7, actually, excuse me. We're going to put Champagne Supernova in at number 7, where I think it's kind of cool to have that little epic song in the middle of the record instead of the end. And we're going to change it up even further. We're going to put Hello in at number 8. I'm going to keep She's Electric in there at number 9. We're going to put Hey Now in at number 10. And then we're going to close the album with Cast No Shadow, which I think would make a great closing album track as well. Obviously, Champagne Supernova is amazingly epic, but I think Cast No Shadow works in there as a final track as well. So this is what I call the Morning Glory jumbled version. There's no B-sides in there. There's no alternate tracks. It's just, well, the Swamp Song full version, but this is just the original album as it stands. And I think this is pretty cool. We have the Swamp Song in a number 1 to open up the record. We have Morning Glory in a number 2, which I think is a solid second song with that helicopter sound leading into that dan, 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 dan. I think that works really well as number 2 on the record. Some Might Say into Wonderwall, which I think is still great where it is kind of earlier on in the record. You need a little bit of a breather. Roll With It. Don't Look Back in Anger, Champagne Supernova in at number 7 in the middle of the record instead of at the end. And then we have Hello in at number 8, She's Electric staying at number 9, Hey Now at number 10, which is, you know, it's hard to find a good spot for that song on the album. It's kind of its own thing, but I think at number 10, it's really cool. It's got that long kind of synth outro to it, which would be really cool. And then that could roll right into Cast No Shadow as the closing song from the jumbled version of Morning Glory. So you know what, guys? I think these are kind of cool. I think these are really cool track lists for alternate reimagining, alternate universe, multiverse versions of Morning Glory, whichever one you want to call it. So we first have the Morning Glory rock version, which I think is my favorite out of all these different reimaginings of the track list that I put here. Morning Glory, the rock version, which I think, again, looks really solid with Hello, Roll With It, Acquiesce, Step Out. I think this is solid. You guys can let me know in the comments. But then we have the Morning Glory, the soft version, which I also think is really cool. It's a little bit more of a chill version of the album. Of course, it's missing all those iconic rockers from the Morning Glory era, but I think this is a really, really cool version of the record. We have the no hits version where we're taking off all those hit singles from the record and just replacing them with worthy B-sides. Really, no band is like Oasis where you have B-side songs that weren't on the record that are just as strong, if not better than the songs that ended up on the record. So that is the Morning Glory no hits version. And then ended it off with the Morning Glory jumbled version, which is just the original album with all the songs kind of messed around and put in different spots. But you know what, guys? I think this is pretty solid. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Which of my reimagined versions did you like best of my track list from Morning Glory? Maybe you have your own reimagined versions that you want to let me know about. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like this video if you liked what I was talking about here, if you like these alternate versions of Morning Glory, and make sure to smash the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future Oasis videos here on the channel. We're celebrating 30 years of this baby. It's hard to believe. It's an album that changed my life. It's an album that changed a lot of people's lives. So happy 30th anniversary Morning Glory. We'll have more 30th anniversary Morning Glory content coming up here on the channel. But yeah, that's it for now. Until then, rock on, everybody.